unfortunately.
So, on the Sabres, all the rumors are there. We should do this soon, by the way. We've had on our to-do list a played their last game as a Sabre draft.
Yes.
And nobody's been traded yet, but
no,
we might want to do that next segment because
you think someone's coming?
Something's got to happen this week. Kind of has to happen this week, I think. It's the time where trades are made. We'll get more NHL trades today. Maybe there's been speculation that there'll be more action during the week because it's a decentralized draft. You're going to make your phone calls now because think of it this way. You're having a fantasy football draft. Which scenario gives you more trades on draft day? All 12 people in the same room or all 12 people at their houses online? Where are you getting more trades? All in the same room.
Yes.
Like, hey, anybody want this pick? Anybody want that? You can make those trades easily if you're all at a centralized location. So I think you would have the trades likely happening this week. So that's been suggested. I think that's probably right. And here's Frank Saravelli, who has been all over the Peterka rumors because Peterka's agent is working, it seems, hard. Mm-hmm. And he says he anticipates Peterka will be moved before the draft. So now we're into
before Friday.
I think it'll happen by Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the number one pick in a played their last game as a Sabre draft? I don't think he is. But you don't know what the Sabres will do about...
He's got to be one of them.
He's got to be one of them. Byram is, I think, the favorite.
Byram is the number one.
But
Byram is my number one.
Haven't we been in this spot before where we fully expect a player to be traded, and then the next thing you know, it's July, and then it's August, and then he's coming to training camp, and you're like, I mean, I guess... Sorry, but they just did not meet the price for what Kevin Adams is looking for.
Who would that be?
I mean, that would have been Eichel. That would have been
sure.
That would have been their pursuit of players like a top 6 forward. Like, oh, it's going to happen soon. When's it going to happen? They've talked about wanting a top 6, and then they don't do it.
Yep.
There's another report from maybe the fourth period, which again, take any one of these with a grain of salt, whatever you want here.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about rumors, or we don't have to talk about rumors. But it was kind of funny, like. The story from them is the Sabres are aggressively exploring the trade market. Who wrote this up for
Dave Pagnotta.
Yeah.
He mentioned Marco Rossi of the Wild, I think is one player that they've shown interest in. Who's a good player, 60 points last year, young.
And the story on what they're interested in, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, they're interested in adding top two centers? Oh, good luck. Mm-hmm. Where do you get that? When does that happen?
No, you're not. I mean, that's where. Are these the phone calls about Peterka? Like, hey, sure, we're willing to move them. We're now willing to talk to you about Peterka. We want your number one center. That is they're looking to do something aggressive. They're looking to do something big. And if this guy doesn't want to be there anymore, they would probably view him as maybe their ticket to doing something big. And that's not going to be for the 12th pick in someone's third best prospect.
Right. To that point, at fourthperiod.com, Pagnotta writes, Adams is not interested in moving Peterka or Byram for future assets. Any moves he completes involving any key pieces result in immediate help in NHL talent. The Sabres are looking to add 2 top 6 forwards this offseason with a number 2 center to believe to be atop their wish list. So that would put, who's the number 1 center? Norris?
Norris/Kulik.
Okay. And then the number 2 center is
the other one.
The other guy. So, I mean, Kulik being your top line center is, again, he plays with Tage.
Going into year 2, like.
I don't know, that's pretty lofty. That's
not a team that is serious about winning doesn't go in with the plan being that the 20-year-old kid who had 9 assists last year is going to be our number 1 center.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, they're open to him growing into a role and taking over somebody's job, but you don't go in with that as, well, he's got to do it. That is, right, a serious team says, no, we're not flush at that position. We should be calling about any available or potentially available center that will help us. Which is maybe why you're seeing Rossi's name out there, because I think he does play center for Minnesota, and he's, 60 points is 60 points at 23 last year. It might be Peterka just in a different form. That would make sense to why you're seeing that call. I don't know, though, that they're going to get any of this done, though.
Right. It's hard to...
How much am I supposed to believe? I don't want to believe it's zero. They traded Cousins.
They did.
Like, they did trade Cousins. And they found an idea that I liked at the time, and it's tough to evaluate because we haven't seen the guy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's part of the evaluation is, though, that was your risk. Your risk was you were acquiring a player with a lot of baggage because of the injuries. And he immediately got hurt. So that could end up looking poor on them, but at the time, I liked the idea, and I'll never want to criticize him for trying that move because Cousins was just lost, and it was the value was going down, down, down every day that passed. So his ability to do a similar type of trade involving Byram or Peterka, I want to think it's possible, but sure. I feel like I could see Peterka playing another game for the Sabres. They don't get what they want. There's nobody that's offering them what they think it's worth to do it. So they say, okay, well, we're going to come back and we're going to do it on this super short-term deal, and we'll go from there. Byram, I just feel like, does anybody want it? Like this, the Peterka thing feels like the Sabres don't want to move him, but he wants to be gone, and they're more like begrudgingly being walked to the trade conversation. Byram, it just feels more like everybody's just good, like, we're good here.
Well,
Byram's good here, the Sabres are good here.
That's all based on reason. Why does Byram want out? I want a bigger role. All right, well, hey, you know what? If that's in your heart, okay. Peterka, why do you want out? If, in fact, he does. Some of the story reporting is he wants to be in a bigger city. Jerk. One guy's heart is about his role. One guy's heart is about the kind of place he'd like to live, maybe.
And the other thing is, like, if the Sabres are, if they've got a couple of people in that room that are smart at finding who the players are that are actually good and who the guys that are not, I feel like you have a much stronger defense that Peterka's actually good than Byram is actually good, right? Byram feels like the guy you can almost trick another team into thinking, oh, this guy, like, number one defenseman capabilities. Look, he played 23 minutes for us last night.
Well,
12th in the league in even strength points for a defenseman.
I have no doubt they're doing that like you're doing it in a fantasy football league. I always make my comparisons here like, I'm going to need number one defenseman return on this. Like, come on, buddy. Who are you really pulling it over on?
No, like, you might not... but that would be why you would move him. You might not end up getting that value for him at the end of it, but you're trading him because you don't think he's nearly as good as what somebody else might think he is.
803-0550, our phone number. Jeremy and Joe. You can give us a ring if you want.